This video is sponsored by ViewSonic. The Herschel wallet, the KeySmart keychain, the Sesame Ring public transit pass. These are just about the only survivors from last time I showed you what's in Mr. Mobile's bag, and that means we've got a whole lot of new stuff to look at in the Mr. Mobile Everyday Carry for 2018. For the record, folks, with the exception of the fun sponsor spot at the end, all the products in this video are ones I chose of my own volition, and some of them were a surprise even to me. Take these Sony headphones, model number WH-1000XM3. This rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? Anyway, I was expecting to put these on for 2 weeks, review them, and then return to my trusty Bose QC35s, just like I'd done with every other headset this year. But while the Bose headphones are still more comfortable, the Sonys are better in almost every other way. Noise-canceling options that let you decide how much sound you let in, touch controls, USB-C fast charging. The only major letdown on this headset is voice calls, and who does those anymore? Stay tuned for the full review if you want a more detailed breakdown, but yeah, these are my new go-to for on-ear audio. Maybe the Surface headphones will give them a run for their money. We'll see. Connected to those cans, to connect me to my fam, the Blackberry KEY2. My reasons haven't changed since last year when I carried the Key 1. I like something different, I like long battery life, I'm a nostalgic fool. But over and above all that, this phone managed to re-addict me to physical keys. I'm not faster on this keyboard, I'm not even more accurate, I just find it more satisfying than typing on glass. It's been a while since I mentioned the Key 2, I know, so I'll drop a bonus plus and minus on you. On the bright side, it's aging much better than the Key 1 did. The Key 1 was always too slow. On the downside, I've really come to hate the issue first reported by Matt Monis. The Bluetooth radio on this thing is weak, and I almost have to keep the phone in my chest pocket to keep the static out of those Sonys. Now, as you know, I always carry a second phone, mainly for imaging, and while the Pixel 3 is by no means a perfect device, it does pack the best camera for a YouTuber looking to ditch a bulky gimbal. Now, I do shuffle phones a lot, and I find other handsets much more exciting, notably the Huawei Mate 20 Pro, which I still prefer for still shots thanks to its versatility. But the Pixel 3, with its object tracking focus and insanely good stabilization, well, it's just the phone I reach for when I need something that I know is going to deliver with a minimum of tinkering. Now, normally I'd keep those phones linked to a smartwatch, but the one I'm really looking forward to is the LG Watch W7, and it's late. For a while I was using the Samsung Galaxy Watch, which is great, but not exactly a style standout, and I'm still on the waiting list for the Mont Blanc Summit 2. So I'm not really wearing a smartwatch at the moment. In its place sits a Jack Mason A102 from an old sponsorship I did with Man Outfitters. And when I want to go old school, I switch over to a Mondaine Pocketwatch I bought myself on a birthday a few years back. Now, of course, I had to ruin that by teching it up too. So on the other end of that Mondaine chain is one of two of my Google Titan security keys. You probably heard about this a month or so ago. It's a physical key that makes it a lot harder for people to break into your accounts. I'll have more on this in a dedicated video coming soon, but it's changed the way I think about security. Check out Modern Dad's explainer in the meantime. Hey, Phil. But Mr. Mobile, I'm sure you're asking, without a smartwatch, how are you tracking your steps? Well, I'm glad you brought that up. The Motiv Ring I reviewed a while back just got an upgrade. Heart rate, step tracking, sleep tracking, all in a tiny ring, and now it too can serve as a two-factor authentication key for all those times a pocket watch is overkill. Trouble is, I wear this ring on the same finger as my Sesame Ring, so maybe I should get measured for a pinky-sized version. What do you think? Let me know in the comments, and please subscribe to the Mr. Mobile on YouTube while you're there. Let's do a quick touch and go on the core of my mobile workstation. My main machine continues to be a Macbook Pro. I had to upgrade to the 2018 model because the 2017 needed to get the infamous keyboard repair, plus its speakers were blown, the USB ports were on the fritz. You know what? It wasn't my favorite machine. But I'm tied to the MacBook Pro because Final Cut Pro is my favorite editing program. And when I don't need to use that, the 2018 iPad Pro is my favorite tablet. The iPad has been the best tablet you can buy for years. And while Apple ditched the headphone jack this year, the other port change it made, from Lightning to USB Type-C, it makes up for it. Finally, I can charge all of my devices, all the ones bigger than a phone, anyway, with one cable. And speaking of charging, in recent months I've been helped up the mountain by this guy, the Sherpa from Goal Zero. It has about the same capacity as my old Anchor pack, but it comes equipped with an AC inverter, so I can plug in devices that don't charge over USB-C. Microsoft, if you're watching, that's a request. The Sherpa kicks out up to 60 watts, and I can even charge wirelessly while I'm charging something else via cable. It's pricey, and I wish it had a bigger reservoir, but it's a great little power pack, and I like it a lot. Finally, we come to the bag that brings it all together. My everyday backpack by Peak Design has gotten a little worn over the months, a few rainstorms staining the leather, a pull tab falling off, some stretch creeping into its formerly taut lines, but it's still the best-looking backpack I've ever used. For those days I travel light, I fall back on the Brenthaven Collins vertical messenger bag. The first generation one. I wasn't a big fan of the redesign. I want to close out on a weirdo, folks. I only occasionally dabble in clothing commentary. And no, I'm not talking about that Project Jacquard jacket from Google. But stick with me through a sponsor spot, and I'll give you a look at the strange piece of apparel you most often ask about in the comments. But don't tune out, because that sponsor is a perfect fit for a tech roundup like this. This is the ViewSonic M1, and it's an ultra-portable projector. That means it's lightweight and compact, but still big enough for a bright LED light source that makes for great picture quality. Now, you're right to worry about battery life when we talk bright lights, but don't sweat it. The built-in battery here is good for 3 hours away from a wall plug. It's also got great speakers built right in, so you don't need to carry extra. And the whole thing is cleverly designed, with a 360-degree stand that doubles as a lens cap, and, you know I love this, a USB-C port for video and power, so it won't be outdated tomorrow. So, whether you're looking to stream some YouTube videos or do some easy decorating for the holidays, snap up a ViewSonic M1 at the special link below. And thanks to ViewSonic for sponsoring this video. So that fancy coat I've been rocking from San Francisco to Soho, that's the Hacker jacket from Volante Design, whose booth I've been visiting at PAX East for years. Volante makes amazing, if expensive, stuff under the brand Superhuman Streetwear. And while this isn't quite a Star Trek design, Volante will be launching a jacket under the Star Trek license soon. So stay tuned, and hopefully I'll be able to swing a sample for a look over on the Instagram channel. Folks, I want to hear about your everyday carry. Hit me up in the comments with the stuff you can't leave the house without. And if you want to know what other folks are packing in their pockets, I'll give a shout out to my friend Taylor Martin, who runs a site just for this kind of stuff. It's called Best Damn EDC, and you can find it at, you guessed it, bestdamnedc.com. Until next time, thanks for watching, and stay mobile, my friends.